Hey guys and girls, what's going on? Viridia and Anakin here for Down the Scope, the gaming podcast you can't miss. What's up, bub?
Oh man, it's been crazy, absolutely crazy. We've been talking about some of the things we wanted to cover this week, but we always want to cover at least a game or two. But this week has just been so dry for games. In fact, this whole month I think is going to be pretty dry.
There's nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, we've got El Shaddai and Deus Ex, and nothing else really worth mentioning. I mean, unless you're a fighter fan, I guess. What is it? Street Fighter 3 Online Edition comes out.
that's right. Yeah,
But really, Deus Ex is probably the big one,
right.
Because I mean, Deus Ex was huge when it first hit. It went downhill a little bit with the sequels, but picked back up. This looks really good. So let's hope they don't, flop on this, which they do. They seem to be doing pretty regularly this year. There's been a lot of flops.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, so I'm glad to finally kind of be back into a schedule here. It feels a little bit better. Even this week was hectic. I had my birthday going on, had some stuff with Sammy to do, and that's been taking up time, and feels good to just kind of get back in the groove. Last week I got here like halfway.
Right.
I think it was a little
It was like 45 minutes in or whatever, and you showed, and it was like you kind of lurked the whole time. You finally had your say there. Once you kind of got your bearings, you really got into it near the end there. So I hope everybody stuck around for it.
It kind of got felt naked. Like I felt like I came in there. I was like, I don't belong here this week. This guy needs to back out. I was hoping you didn't see me in the call. I was just gonna sit there and listen.
Speaking of last week, I think we got some pretty darn good feedback about bringing in not only some guests, but actually bringing in the rest of our personal little network, of directors, and Control Shock and all the people there involved all enjoyed it. I had quite a bit of good feedback from people who either subscribed to me or to both of us, or just to you or whatever, and a lot of these people went out and rediscovered some of these other guys that that we run with, and I really think Control Shock in general kind of got some pretty good feedback last week. I was very, very glad of that.
Yeah, I saw that. It was pretty good to see, because we kind of hang around as a pack, a wolf pack, and
all I think of is The Hangover.
I know, I know. This is a proper one though, and we do things a lot together. I mean, not so much the past couple of weeks, obviously, but we do hang out. You're starting with your live stream stuff. You're starting pretty heavy into that.
Yep.
Once I get a little bit more funding, I'm going to be grabbing a computer. Once that happens, I'll be doing the same. And this live stream thing, it really does become a team effort, because you can only talk to yourself for so long before you need a wingman or two.
Exactly.
To come in and just be like, hey, we don't necessarily have to talk about the gameplay. We can read the comments and talk to the fans. So I think that's the best way to go. And, when it comes to doing something like YouTube or Justin TV, the key, and we've talked about this before, is having a group, having a niche group of people that are that help you out. If you don't have that and you're alone, it's so much harder to do, because you don't have people talking about you. You don't have somebody bringing in fans that are also funneling through, and I get followers every single day just from Medina's stream. I don't know if he's saying stuff about me or whatnot, but I'm not streaming all the time, so there's no way people would just find me. It's not really like YouTube, where you can just type in "let's play" whatever, and my name would pop up. I have to be live for people to see me, so it really does help out, and I can't wait to get that going for sure. But these guys are great, and I really I want to thank them again for being on last week. That was cool that they kind of covered for me when I didn't think I was going to be there.
Well, I actually think it ended up being to their benefit. I think they got a lot of exposure from the Down the Scope audience. There was a lot of people apparently that did not know about them, so I think it worked out for everybody. You got a little bit of a break. They got some extra exposure, and I'm just glad a lot of the Down the Scope crew, was able to discover some new directors.
Yeah, no kidding. It was pretty cool. I mean, we had MZL and Reed on here in the beginning, and
Right.
it's pretty cool to see that we've gained some more since then.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Gained people outside.
in episode 28, no kidding. I mean, that's what's crazy. I mean, I can't
Oh yeah, yeah,
believe
you're right. I
we're
didn't even say the damn number.
it's crazy. Yeah, episode 28. It's just
Well,
nuts.
let's start it over. We got to do it right at the beginning.
Too late.
Well, I have an interesting story I want to tell you, and I've been waiting to tell you this story because it pissed me off so bad.
This is true, gang. I actually wanted to know this story. I don't know this. I'm going to hear this story for the first time along with the rest of you guys out in the audience. This is, Verdi has been, he says, I have to tell you on the air. You cannot hear this story ahead of time. So I'm like, all right, man. All right, save it. So I'm ready to hear it. Tell everybody out there and tell me.
So it was my birthday yesterday.
Woo!
And
Happy birthday.
thank you. I'm 24 now, and my family, they never know what to get me. I've got pretty much every game out there. So for them to go out to a gaming store and be like, "Oh, he'd like that. He doesn't have that," is impossible. So the thing is that if on my birthday, if I want something gaming related, I have to purchase it myself. So I was like, forget it. I've been on this thing where I want the older PS2 games that I haven't played, in 6-7 years. And so I bought Beautiful Joe 1 and 2, and then I got a deal where I got to buy 2 extra games. So I bought Devil May Cry 4 and
Nice.
Psychonauts. Okay, I bought it for the Xbox. I was like, sweet. I get it home, I pop it in, I play it for about an hour, and it freezes on me. And I'm like, well, shit. So I take the disc out, and I look at it, and it's got a little scratch on it. And I was like, oh, well, I'll take it in, and I take it to the guys. And he buffs it out. And I'm like, cool, thanks, bub. Take it home, and I put it back in the system. It's frozen again. I was like, crap. So I call him back and say, hey, do you have another copy I could have? Nope, sorry, man. I'm like, all right, well, then I'll just bring it back. So I take it back. I get my money. And I said, well, do your other stores across the bridge, do they have a copy? So he calls over there. He's like, yeah, they got one for PS2 and one for Xbox. And I was like, cool. So I go all the way across town. It's a 20-minute drive. And I get there, and I'm like, cool. Well, I think I'll take it for the PS2 because on Xbox, when you play it on Xbox, it doesn't stretch the screen, which I enjoy that. I enjoy it stretching the screen a little bit. It plays it in that perfect square, that 4
Right.
by. And I hate that. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it for that. So I get it home. And no. First of all, I get there. The guy on the phone had told the guy I wanted the Xbox version. Well, these are a bunch of lazy dipshits, okay? And I get in there, and he's got the Xbox one laying out, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'll take the PS2 one instead. And he turns to his friend, and he opens a drawer, he's looking for the games, he's all pissed off, and I'm like, you mad, bro? He's like, yeah, he wants the one that I didn't clean and get ready for him. And I was like,
come on.
I was like, oh my god, cry me a freaking river, you piece of junk. You're sitting there, you have the easiest job in the world. You're literally cleaning a PS2 and playing Mario at the same time, and you're gonna gripe because you got to open a damn drawer. Anyway, so that made me mad. So he pulls out the PS2 copy, and he runs it through his little scratch thing, right? He busts it out, and he keeps looking at it. And he goes, and he puts the disc in the case. So number one thing, whenever you buy a game from one of these mom and pop, game stores, open that case, pull the game out. Make sure there's no scratches in the top or bottom. I look at the bottom. This thing has gashes all in it.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, here you go, bub. And I hand it back to him. He's like, what? And I was like, look at the bottom of that. You tell me if that's quality. He's like, he looks at it and he's like, runs it through the machine again. He's got it on the deepest setting, so that he takes off just the most he can. And it's still got a few little gashes in it. And I was like, and he's like, well, buddy, you got like a 90-day warranty on it. If you get home, it doesn't work. I was like, fine, whatever. So I'm like, as long as it plays, I'm cool. So I get the game home, I put it in, and it's missing half the sprites. I can't even see half the character. Yeah, no lie. The weirdest thing I've ever seen in a video game. Okay, so I'm having dialogues with characters, but they're not there.
Oh my God, that's no way to play that. That's a great game too.
Yeah, no lie. And I wanted to re-experience it. I was so excited and adamant about it. I woke up that day and I was just like, Tim Schafer, you're gonna please me today. And I'm after it, That's what I wanted for my birthday. So I'm like, fuck, or crap. So I take it back. I'm like, dude, no, screw it. Give me the Xbox version. So now they're like, all right, whatever, dude. Xbox version. Well, it freezes.
What the hell?
Third copy, it freezes. So now I'm angry. I am mad, okay? So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'll pay the extra money to download it from Xbox Live. So I get on there. I go to the Psychonauts. I click it. It says buy the game. I said click. It says add funds. I said yes. I add 1,200 points. I go back and guess what, Anakin?
It freezes.
No. They have taken it off the Xbox market literally within the 5 minutes it took me to add funds. I can no longer buy the game, and you proved it to me earlier that you can't either.
Wait a minute. Wait. Okay, when we looked that up together, I didn't know what you were getting at earlier, but you're telling me that you bought it. You had the option to go and buy, purchase game, and then all of a sudden, as soon as you purchased it, it was no longer there.
As soon as I put the funds in my Xbox to buy it, I could no longer buy it.
Got to be kidding.
I tried for 3 hours to figure out why the heck it would. Not only that, listen to me. How I found the game, I went to all games, okay? They give you A, B, C, D all the way through Z, and you pick the letter, and then you go down to the game, right? To find the game, I went to P, and it was right below, I think it was right below Prototype. And I was like, all right, cool. Clicked it. Once I did that, I went to purchase, and I hit add funds, because it does it. It says add the funds. I said, yes, add the funds. And then instead of just automatically, giving me the option to buy it, it kicked me out, and I had to go back in, and I couldn't buy it. Now I can't find the game. So you remember you asked where it was at, and I told you that elaborate way to find it? You had to go to. That's the only way to find it now. You can't even go to the letter and find Psychonauts. You can't go to platformer and find Psychonauts. You have to go to the genre tab. You have to go to the action adventure and then scroll over or scroll up to the top rated and then scroll all the way over. The only where it's located.
I wonder if there was something happened that goofed up on their database or something, and that it's still out there, but maybe they need to do some work on it or something.
I thought about it. And the first thing I thought was that the emulator is messed up and it won't play it correctly because 2 copies of the Xbox version froze up at the exact same spot. Okay, so that means that it's not a problem with the disc. It was a problem with the emulation. So my only other guess is that the downloadable copy has the same problem because it's not reading it from it's reading it from a disc, but when it's coming from 2 discs, it's not the disc's fault unless I'm that unlucky. But so yeah, I literally my whole birthday was spent finding Psychonauts. By the end of the night, I still had not played it. And I have 1,200 points sitting in my Xbox that I can't use now. And I am absolutely livid, man. I was so mad. I just wanted to hurt somebody. And not to mention the PS2. Now I'm not here to have a console war, so just drop it now. But the PS2 version of Psychonauts is so noticeably graphically bad. Or inferior to the Xbox version that I had a hard time even playing. I played the one on Xbox for about an hour and a half before I got to this part and couldn't continue. And then I throw the one on PS2 in, and it is so bad in comparison that it's hard to play. I can't. I'm sitting here looking at the TV, and I'm like, I can't even make out his features because when I was playing it on the Xbox, I all of a sudden noticed that Raz was wearing a blue jacket. And I was like, wait a minute, he wears a red jacket. Why is his jacket blue? So I restarted the game, and I was looking at his character standing on top of the brain, and sure enough, it was red. And I was like, I guess the game glitched up. I could see his outfit. I could see the buttons. I could see everything. You put the PS2 in, you can't even see his features. It's that blurry. Huh. So, man, I'll tell you what. That is – I just couldn't believe my luck was that bad.
Wow.
That I got 3 duds, and then I can't download the thing from the Xbox. I could not believe it. I was so overwhelmed with anger. I was so mad, dude.
That's unbelievable.
That's honestly the only thing I wanted for my birthday. I wanted to play Psychonauts. I was just like, I haven't forked over the money to buy it. Every time I go into Xbox, it's that little thing. I see it go by, and I'm like, there it is. Nah, you don't need it now. You don't need it right now. And to that day, I was just like, yep, there it is. I'm going to get it. And instead of jumping on the Xbox when I decided to go see if I could find it cheaper, got screwed three times and then a fourth by Microsoft. I was so mad.
Man, that's pretty. 4 times to try to play an old game. That's got to be a record.
So, I'm
all unsuccessful.
I never ask my subscribers for anything, ever, but I'm gonna ask right now because I'm really upset. If you guys have a copy of Psychonauts that you're not playing, that you don't need, I would love to have it. It's just I can't find one myself.
Somebody send this man a damn copy of Psychonauts.
I beg of you. I will give you a shout out. I swear. I'll just do a whole video of me playing the game with Sammy and just praise you. I swear. I just want to play Tim Schafer's masterpiece. And if you haven't played Psychonauts, good luck trying to find a copy that works.
Yeah, no lie.
Jesus, man. But anyway.
By the way, while we were talking and while you were telling the story, I did a quick Google just for screwing around, just to see if this is some kind of global problem or whatever. And I went ahead and limited Google search results to just the past week. And on June 23rd, somebody wrote on the Xbox Live forums, recently purchased Psychonauts, but I have not succeeded in getting it to play. And he's talking about actually like buying the digital copy.
Mm-hmm. So he couldn't even get it to work.
He says, I keep getting the error message. The game couldn't start. Try downloading the game again. He says he did this twice, receiving the same error message each time. Searched around the forum a bit, and it was suggested to clear my cache and try this again. I did this. I did everything, even wiped out the entire hard drive on my Xbox. I still get the same error message. Any ideas?
No? Yeah, Microsoft have one. We're going to take it off. And we're going to do it right as Viridian wants to download it.
Well, and let me tell you, this poor sap, it looks like he actually already bought it. You didn't even didn't get to purchase the digital copy. This guy bought it, still can't play it.
Well, I feel bad for him, but I think Microsoft probably would have comped him.
Well, yeah, if he can't get it to play, he should just be able to get a refund on it. But still,
yeah, that's pretty bullshit.
I mean, obviously there's something going on with Psychonauts, particularly.
It's so crap. I mean, it's such a good game, and I just, I want to play it so bad. Not only that, even if you find a used copy, it's still like $15. I mean, that's how good of a game it is.
Yeah.
And, you find it's on the Xbox Live for $15, and I was like, yeah, that is totally worth getting again, because you get so much gameplay. It's one of the best action platformers. And I've never honestly had this much trouble getting a game, ever. And, one time I was trying to find Final Fantasy 9, it took me about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I finally found one at a store. You look at these pawn shops, you can find them, but this game, it just acts like if there's one blemish on the disc, it's not working properly.
Jeez.
So anyway, that's my great birthday story. It's just, whew, that was something for me. I'll tell you what. What have you been up to? What bad has happened to you, or good?
Well, I can't really say good or bad. I actually, this month, it was something we were just talking about here at the beginning of the cast. Talking about how we like to cover, various games, but it's such a weak month overall. And September, has a couple of big games. Resistance 3, Gears of War 3. But overall, there's no titles that everybody's just clamoring for. So what I was talking about with some of my friends that I work with is I said, okay, we got on topic of games like we do every day at lunch. And a couple of the guys I was having lunch with, I was like, man, we had talked about the podcast, and I said, they were complaining at me saying, dude, come on, Dead Space 2, your game of the year, if one of these other games later in the year isn't going to be like awesome. I'm like, hell yes, Dead Space 2, I'm telling you. And I said, you clowns haven't played it, you don't know. So I sat there and just beat them up at lunch over and over and over about playing it. And I said, you guys have got to play Dead Space 1 and 2. I don't care what you do. You can't come back and tell me that is not a Game of the Year contender until you go and play it. Right. So they said, okay, and we talked about it, and they basically agreed. And then then they started going in about some of the other games that, we're looking forward to. One of them brings up Mass Effect 3. And, now, of course, it's been kind of pushed back to 2012 or whatever. But I kept saying, yeah, God, man, it looks like that game should be just, it should be right up my alley. Mass Effect should be like, I mean, this game was like written for me. I am a massive sci-fi fan. I love the whole, laser gun, outer space, spacesuit kind of thing with the big epic storyline and, crazy aliens and all this. I mean, I love all that kind of stuff. I'm way more into that than the swords and dragons and, running across the countryside for freaking 6 hours so you can kill a rat. I'm not into all that. So I love a good sci-fi movie. I love a good sci-fi game. So it was like Mass Effect really was written for me. But in the history since Mass Effect 1 came out, in the history of me trying to play this freaking game, I got to the Citadel 3 times, and I couldn't get past the Citadel. I was just so freaking bored to tears. I gave up. I played it twice on the Xbox, once on PC, and I could not get every time I got to the Citadel. I wandered around. I got irritated. It was like, oh, well, I need to talk to this person, and I'll go talk to this person. And, the main storyline is really riveting. I'm, like, into it, okay? I just cannot get past these side missions, and then the confusing layout of like where you're supposed to go and what ward this is in and where this clown is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I gave up on the game. Okay, and well, of course, here we go. I'm sitting here pimping Dead Space, the whole franchise, and they're like, okay, tell you what, and this is two of my buddies. They're like, tell you what, we will play the Dead Space franchise if and only if you finish the 2 Mass Effect games to get ready for the 3rd one, because you will love these games if you played them.
Exactly.
So I said, all right, fine, damn it. I will play Mass Effect. And I am literally now on my 4th time playing Mass Effect. Guess where I'm at? I played it the last couple of days, and in fact, this is why I haven't had a video on my channel on Friday or Saturday. I played Mass Effect, and I haven't been doing anything else, and I got to the damn Citadel, and I'm saying, okay, it can't go on forever. Everybody tells me once you get past the Citadel, the game is just an absolute blast. I mean, you said that yourself, right?
Oh, I did. I agree with them.
And I'm it's like I'm wading through it. It's like I'm eating my broccoli so I can have my pudding. Okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm just wading through the absolute garbage. I'm not through it yet, still. And as soon as I get through it, everybody swears the game gets really good. So that's kind of where I am now. And then after I'm done with Mass Effect, I'm gonna hit number 2, which everybody claims is so much better.
Oh yeah, no, hands down. It's basically what it's like what Call of Duty should do. They have a game and they're like, oh, there's a lot of flaws. We're gonna fix every single flaw, even if it wasn't. There were things in Mass Effect 1 where you'd be like, well, that kind of sucked. That was minorly inconvenient. They were like, well, shit, we're gonna fix it right now. It's like, it's out. And they fixed everything. There's not one thing they didn't fix.
Well, that's kind of what they did with the Assassin's Creed series, right?
Exactly. I enjoyed the first game a lot. I didn't find anything about it repetitious like a lot of people did. I don't know why. But yeah, they made it better. And a lot of people would agree that they fixed the quote-unquote flaws with the game. The repetition was really the only one I had. And then they just added things to make the original better. With Mass Effect, there was definitely a lot of things that were just like, ugh, this game is great, but the Citadel, the elevator in the Citadel, the inventory, the equipment, all that, these things pull the game down. And they're just like, all right, let's take care of it. Let's do it.
Well, and at this point, I'm like I said, I'm going to go ahead and wade on through, and I'm going to go ahead and get ready for Mass Effect 2. And, I'll probably jump on in, and supposedly Mass Effect 2, I don't know how long either one of these games are. I think Mass Effect 1, the guys are claiming that that one's probably 20 hours. And that's skipping accurate side missions and stuff, apparently. But, it's about 20 hours for your main storyline and maybe a couple of little, offshoot missions here and there.
Yeah.
But the problem is Mass Effect 2, from what I understand. My friends were telling me that that one is easily a 40-hour game.
Oh yeah, it can be longer than that. I have a friend who spent 100 hours on one play.
Yeah, and I believe it, because they were telling me that if you actually do choose to go through and just try to play the game 100%, every side mission and everything, it can be easily 80 to 100 hours with no problem.
Yeah, the thing is that that game has a way to get minerals, and you mine every planet, and so
I heard about
around,
the mineral thing.
yeah. So like that takes forever. I mean, to do every single planet, but it's kind of necessary to get the materials you need to upgrade and crap like that. So I mean, it's one of those things that it's like stupid, but you still find yourself enjoying it, you know? It's like, wait, there's no reason I should want to mine every planet, but I'm doing it anyway, you know? It's like one of those things you do to pass some time a little bit. But but yeah, there's really nothing in that game that's you know, because you always want to know what mineral. You're like, oh, please, you know, please be this, or I can't even remember the name of the rarest one, but you're just like, please be that one, element 9 or element, it's a number. And once you get it, you're like, oh god, that feels good. You know, yes, it was all worth it. I got 15 of them.
That is awesome.
But,
well,
yeah.
so you know, the thing is, the reason I bring that up, you know, not just about Mass Effect, but you know, everybody's like, God, you know, Anakin, where the hell have you been? Mass Effect. You know, here's the deal. You know, I've been playing freaking Call of Duty. That's where I've been. So my point is, and this is what I want to pass along to everybody right now. You know, because you know, Call of Duty is a little stale right now. I'm not going to lie. You know, I think, you know, I've been playing a lot of Modern Warfare 2 as well, you know, going back to that. But Call of Duty is stale. You know, there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of a waiting time that we're all going through right now to get ready for some of these big releases coming up in about, you know, the next 60 to 90 days. So my advice to everybody is do basically like what I'm doing right now, and that is, you've got a month and a half, maybe even 2 full months to kill.
Depending on what kind of gamer you are.
Yeah, depending on what kind of gamer you are, depending on what games you're interested in. But for the most part, you've got anywhere from 60, maybe even up to 90 days if you're waiting all the way till Battlefield 3 for your next big purchase. Borrow a game or rent a game that's an older game that was a major hit that you may have missed during, you know, your Call of Duty phase or during your Battlefield phase or whatever, you know, whatever it was that took up all of your time for some period. You know, go and grab up these older games that you missed. You know, I mean, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm saying, you know, this is, you know, I can't believe I missed this game, and everybody always talks about it. And I said, well, gosh dang it, I'm going to go ahead and get into this. Now's the time. Well,
that's what I'm trying to do. It's, you know, I'm finding, yeah, there's games I haven't played. I played everything, and it's like, yeah, I haven't played that, but I don't really want to. It's like I picked up what was it, Tomb Raider Underworld. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Never played a Tomb Raider game in my life. It's kind of a weird thing. It's like, wait, you're a gamer, you never played Tomb Raider? Yeah, I kind of didn't fall for the big titties thing. You know, it's like I wasn't pulled in.
Right.
And so that didn't appeal to me. And the other day I was sitting there, I was trying to find another game that was only like $7, and that one popped up. And so I looked at a review and it got like a 7. And I was like, 7 is good enough when it's only $7. I always look at a rating and say, okay, that's a rating for a full purchase. So if I'm getting the game for $7 and it's a decent game at a full purchase, then it's probably, you know, bumping up a point. But I was like, nope, can't do that. But I did run into, I was never a huge fan of it, but Devil May Cry 4, you know, that game is just great. That game is really keeping me busy, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going back, you know, I'm doing some gaming like that. I've been looking for games that I haven't played. The only ones I haven't really played are RPGs and stuff, like big title, you know, role-playing games that would take up hundreds of hours, and I just really, I don't have that time. So it's kind of hard for me to find them, but I definitely recommend doing exactly that. Find some games you haven't played and or maybe haven't played in a while, even like I'm doing with Beautiful Joe, and that I'm going back to PS2 and just to hold you over a bit.
Well, that's and that's just it. Me and some of the guys I work with, we were all talking about like, well, what are you playing right now? And they're like, man, nothing. It's just the doldrums. There's nothing out right now.
Exactly.
And that's why I was like, you know what, you're right. I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of this time because, of course, we all know we've talked about this on the podcast 100 times. When October hits, basically, as soon as October hits. It is just nothing but just a free-for-all at that point. It's like, just choose your freaking poison, okay?
Exactly.
Battlefield 3, Skyrim, Uncharted 3, Modern Warfare 3, just name it, It's just going to be nuts near the end of the year.
Exactly, yeah. It's going to be... I'm still going to. It's going to be a very, very upsetting time for me. At the same time, it's gonna be the best time.
I agree.
I'm gonna have Skyrim and Dark Souls, and I'm gonna be like, "Who?" And then I'm gonna look over, and I'm gonna see you guys playing, this and that, and I'm gonna be like, "He's gonna play that do 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 do," and a little tear's gonna pop out, and then I'm gonna look back over at the TV, and I'm gonna be like, "Screw them," they're missing out.
Exactly. I mean,
all the time you're going to be looking over at your screen, looking at Skyrim, and just.
I know. I know. And we've got all these other ones that are popping up, and right now I'm half interested in Rage. I'm kind of thinking, man, that could be cool, but at the same time, it looks like it. id's never really been known for great single-player experiences.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know this is kind of a different game. It's kind of out of the box for them. So, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt before I judge it. But, man, it's been – what I've seen of it, it still just looks like the same old, run and gun, first-person shooter. They're going to see you coming. You got a hallway. You're going to duck around a corner and then shoot them. And it's just like, man, I've done that.
We need something new. We need something new. And it's just, it's getting old, man. It's like, we had it, and now we want more. We need something better. We need something new. I'm finding myself getting into genres that I never was a fan of, like slashers, like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, Musashi. I never ever been a fan of these games. And just recently, I'm picking them up and just going, damn. I like this, beat 'em ups and stuff like that. Just all out of lack of content.
Yeah.
So I mean, guys, when we don't have any games to talk about on this podcast, it's just because it's dry. There's nothing to talk about. Kind of like the weather where I'm at. We've had no rain for like 3 months straight. So it's pretty. It's the same thing. We're kind of thirsty for these new games and. We're not getting them, but Deus Ex. I think that's going to be my next purchase.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good one. I'm kind of reserving judgment a little bit on that one. I'm going to see what they do. The second one was kind of a flop. The first one was a huge hit.
Right, it was. It was massively well received.
So
for good reason. If you haven't played it, your computer can handle it.
Absolutely. Any computer these days can handle it.
So pick it up because it's fun. I mean, it's a lot. It's kind of a role playing / first person. It's a first person shooter, but there's a lot of role playing elements to it. Kind of like Fallout. You're accepting missions and you're finding guns and you're kind of choosing what kind of warrior you are. And in that aspect, it succeeds pretty well. So, yeah, definitely pick that up if you haven't, just to get in preparation for this. Now, do you know if they're changing the format at all?
What do you mean? Oh, you mean like just first-person shooter with the RPG elements?
Yeah, like they are keeping the RPG elements. I mean, I've gone into this just assuming that they are. Or
no, they are. Yeah, it's not. Okay. They're not dumbing it down. It seems to be still holding that. In fact, it almost looks like they're moving towards more RPG and less action. I think they're trying to make it a very heavy story mode.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that that's fine. I hope they don't overdo it. I need that gameplay. It's.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
I'm tired of buying these games that are just nothing but story. I enjoy a mixture of both, and they need to do it well. But
yeah,
we'll see. But anyway, we do have a few gaming related things to talk about today.
We do. There's a couple of hot topics. You and I kind of went over some of them earlier on, and I think it's certainly some things worth talking about that the audience will be interested in?
Yeah, you brought one up to me that you were talking about with your coworkers that I also saw the other day and was kind of stunned by. And tell me about what they're doing with Diablo 3 and what your opinion is on it.
It's pretty crazy. The whole thing, not that this hasn't really been done before, because it kind of has. EVE Online sort of did this. Second Life sort of did this. But in this scenario here, there was a massive announcement this week of Diablo 3's auction house, where you'll be able to bid and sell items, bid on items, sell items, buy items, whatever you want to do. You can change, there'll be some kind of currency exchange of real money versus in-game money. Real money, gang.
Yeah, real funds.
We're talking about, okay, we're not talking about, screwing around here. We're not talking about buying horse armor for Oblivion or anything. This is like, hey, I want that new massive crazy sword that somebody got, is very rare or whatever. You might go as far, and here we are. We're basically talking about eBay in a video game. Okay,
yeah.
So there could even be the possibility that some of that eBay mentality is going to fall over into this, because if it's an extremely rare item or something, it could be something like you get sniped at the last second because somebody spent $20 real dollars buying this item because they really wanted it. Some rich kid who has some unlimited amount of money that his parents don't monitor, and he's just out spending money on credit cards. And here you are thinking, oh wow, okay, I'm gonna go play, and I'm gonna get 1,000 gold so I can buy that. You're gonna go play for like 100 hours to go get 1,000 gold so you can buy it. But now, no. This other guy who lives in Malibu over in California, and he's like stupid rich. He's just gonna be like, screw that. I'm not playing 100 hours to get all that gold. I'll just buy it. I'll just buy it for $20, and screw that. I'm gonna have it. And so there's going to be this weird paradigm shift in gamers here, where money can actually get you somewhere. Real money. As long as you feel like buying it and spending the money to do so, you can actually be the big dog on the block. You could say, hey, I've got every rare, crazy, high-end weapon out there, but I spent $500 on the game this month.
Exactly. The main thing about it, I have to say, is that you've got this thing where in a game, basically a game is made a fiction. You jump into a game, you say, okay, this game is not reality. This is something that I am going to take. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to be taken away from that. And in that game, you have accomplishments, and these are fictional accomplishments, and it's always been that way. So a game, normally in a game, you've got this ability to take money, or you say, okay, I'm going to set out on an epic quest. I'm going to purchase. I'm going to grind for an hour, and then I'm going to be rewarded. Now what you're doing is you're taking away that element. You're taking away this element that all this work that you're going to have to do for it, and you're going to give it to people for real cash. So now you're introducing a foreign body into the game. You're saying, okay,
that's true.
You can add your own cash, and you're good to go. And so you're just destroying an economy. I mean, this is the reason. If you want to know the reason why it's, I guess it's bad and WoW. This is the only reason I can imagine that World of Warcraft would be against this. It's because it would destroy an economy, the game economy. If somebody could just purchase it, that's the only reason I could see for them, being so against using real money in World of Warcraft. And I understand.
It's going to unbalance everything. I mean, it's like I was saying. It's like at some point you're going to have a bunch of these rich gamers who just happen to be, wealthy people who enjoy the same game as somebody down the street, struggling financially. And now it's going to tip the balance. Think about how this might affect PvP in like something like World of Warcraft. there'd be no contest. I mean, let's even equate this over to something as even more mainstream and over the top as, say, Modern Warfare. Could you imagine in, say, Modern Warfare 2, you spawn, you got a pistol, and maybe you get, a fairly low-end gun, and I go, oh man, screw that. I'm gonna buy, the TAR 21 with FMJ, for $20, and I'm just gonna tear everybody to shreds for the next 2 months until everybody unlocks that gun.
Yep. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Imagine Modern Warfare, Call of Duty, if they had 150 times the amount of equipment and items in the game. So imagine they had 300 guns, they had 4,000 attachments and perks, and that's the scale that you're getting at with Diablo. You're getting to this point to where in game it would take you forever to unlock all those guns, but now they're giving the people the ability to skip all the earning. It's like they won't even have to grind for these guns. They won't have to say, yeah, man, I had to go through that whole stint where I was using the Vector, and
exactly.
I mean, it was just like I didn't have to use the Vector, so I'm immediately getting it. I mean, can you imagine if at the very beginning, day one of Call of Duty, everybody was using like you said, the TAR 21, one of the best guns in Modern Warfare 2, and they were just trouncing you. They did this with Killzone.
I was about to bring that up because Killzone 3. That was the worst thing they could have ever done with that game, This is exactly what we experienced when we all bought Killzone 3 to get started. That was the worst freaking experience because all these people that bought the special edition, and remember, this is because they spent more money than us. This is what it boils down to, okay? They spent more money. They got all these perks, these unbalanced perks from spending more money on a game franchise in multiplayer.
Yep.
It unbalanced the playing field. And obviously, and now let's say, because all these people I think are probably about to rage, they're like, hey, wait a minute. And I'm like, okay, remember, it was temporary, okay?
Yeah.
But the points and the ranking they got,
they kept it.
That was permanent. Which means, okay, now they're even closer to unlocking those weapons for real. So,
exactly.
Once again, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, that experience alone soured me from ever allowing a game to become unbalanced based on somebody's fiscal investment in that game. Because I'm telling you, and we've already talked about, like the Call of Duty Elite, where somebody's going to have some special strategy or tactic screen that they're interested, that they can watch that I can't, which will maybe tip the balance or whatever, along the way. But, there's other things that, like, here we're talking about Diablo 3 here. If you get in and you're going to party with somebody, you guess what? You're going to want to party with somebody who's fairly well off that can buy a good items so you can go and party with them.
Exactly.
Otherwise, what are you going to do? Party with, your broke friend down the street who can't buy any, he's got to go mine, gold 200 game hours, I mean, no.
You cheap jerk, you're not going to get it? And it's like, oh, God, peer pressure's such a bitch. And then you buy it.
And you know what? It works with map packs. It works with map packs in Call of Duty. It might as well work everywhere else. And, I mean, let me tell you, a lot of times I would probably have never bought those map packs for Call of Duty. I enjoy the game. I have a blast with it. But let me tell you, if everybody I knew that I just played with regularly, if all of my online friends did not buy the map packs, I would not buy them either.
I didn't. I didn't buy Ascension. I don't think you did either.
No, I didn't buy the last two for Black Ops. I just bailed out. I just, and that was actually for a variety of reasons. But I mean, once again, it still comes back to, how much money are you going to start spending on a single game? Mm-hmm. And with Diablo, there's a possibility with this new Diablo 3 and the way that they're going to suck money from people. And remember, okay, this is, the money doesn't go to the other person selling the item. It's just like eBay. Blizzard takes I think they actually listed some of the stats. I don't have them in front of me now, but I think Blizzard actually takes like 70% of the money exchanging. And, the other person who sells the item gets a pittance of what you actually bid on it, and Blizzard keeps the rest. I mean, that's brilliant from Blizzard's point of view, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
As if they need any more money.
Yeah, it's so freaking hilarious that they would even think of doing. I don't know. It just, to me, it shows like, oh, we're not in it for the game. It just shows that they're in it for money. It's like, well, we're just gonna nickel and dime every single little thing until we get enough money to pay for our the amount that we got, and then we're just gonna keep doing it more because people will definitely pay, and there's gonna be businesses opening up. People are going to be they're gonna be jumping in on this. Oh, hey, Korea, get ready. Because you're going to be able to farm shit in Diablo now.
Yeah,
you're just going to have to do it in.
And all we had to worry about before was the stupid gold farmers, selling eBay transactions of transferring gold from one character to another. They were doing it basically outside the game. Now, forget all that. They're Blizzard's like, well, it's almost like in the U.S. How the government, there's a lot of people that keep saying we need to legalize drugs, and in particular, we need to legalize marijuana. Here, I'm getting off on a weird rant here, but here's the deal: the whole point of a lot of government officials who say, look, marijuana's here to stay. We're never going to get rid of it. There's nothing we can do about it. Why don't we legalize it, and then we can tax it?
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, this is exactly what Blizzard's doing. Blizzard's like, okay, you know what? We will never end this gold farming problem that we have. We're never going to be able to get around this. It's constantly going to keep happening. So you know what? With Diablo 3, let's just do a little test. Let's just make it legal.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing, and then they're saying, guess what? We can benefit from this. We'll just tax it. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I would love to sit in on that meeting that took them probably months and months. It's like, all right, is there a downside to doing this? And they thought about it. They thought about it for freaking months, and then they're finally just like, okay, I don't think there is. All right, so let's just get this out of the way. Are we going to do it? Yeah, we're going to do it. we're going to try it out.
Well, it was so funny. When I first saw the announcement, it was everywhere. I mean, it hit everywhere. It hit YouTube and Kotaku and IGN and Joystick, and I mean, it was everywhere. And I started reading comments on some of these, because it was like first thing Monday morning of this week. And, I went and read comments, and there were so many people. I mean, this was the theme of almost every comment. There were people who were like, wow, well, I'm going to get rich playing video games finally. And, then there was other comments like, oh, my God, I'm going to spend so much money, I'm going to go broke. And, I mean, it was like there was only two sides to this. And one is I'm going to spend a ton of money, and the other side was I'm going to retire off of Diablo 3. Yeah. That was the two things, and I'm like, okay, let's just set the record straight here, okay? Nobody is going to suddenly just get rich off of selling items in Diablo. First of all, you've got to earn the item yourself, okay?
Right.
That's going to take hour upon hour upon hour of time. And, and then you might actually, if you're into the game that much, you may want to get even more rare items. Well, if you give up that first rare item you get, you're not going to, you may not be able to continue in doing some of the bigger things, to get more of the items. So the point is like, okay, well, when's that time that you're going to drop that item and sell it? And then how much are you really going to get for it? Are you going to get $5? You're going to get $10? You're going to get $100? Who knows? I mean, $100? Sure, I'd probably do it, no problem. But if you're going to get only $1 for it or something, why would you give it up if you can use that to your advantage to get even to a bigger item? But then you could just keep doing that forever.
Yeah, exactly.
So when is that time that you're actually going to make real money back? And who knows? Who knows what the actual market price is actually going to be for this stuff? I mean, it's just going to be bizarre how this is actually going to work. I think it's going to be a very interesting experiment, to say the least.
Well, and also, I mean, just there will be one guy who gets rich doing this.
And we're all going to read about him, and it's going to happen within the first month of the game. Everybody's going to try to duplicate it, and it's never going to happen again.
Yeah, it won't happen. Not only that, he won't be rich for long because the game won't last that long. I mean, well, it probably will. Diablo 2 is still freaking huge, but
I know.
It's just like, don't even think about that. I mean, at the end of the day, I think it does hurt the game.
I think so too.
I think it's, I do respect. Okay, whatever. If you're willing to spend the money to get whatever, I mean, there's always been a time in a game where you've just been like, damn it, you've tried for an hour to get something and you just cannot get it. And, it's one of those stories that you tell somebody, it's like, I will never do that again in that game ever.
Right.
One of those points where you just wanted to kind of cop out. And say,
like the Citadel.
Exactly. Damn it, I will pay $3. Somebody get through this crap for me.
Exactly.
So, there's always going to be, a reason to buy or pay somebody to do something like that. But,
Well, here's the thing, though. We've really gotten into the explanation of this, or at least as much information as out there about it. But, I really didn't give an overall opinion on it, And the thing is what I do want to say about this, and what worries me more than anything is this is setting a precedent, not only for Diablo and Blizzard and these RPG-style games where you collect items, but I think it sets a precedent in the entire gaming industry that that basically gamers are so fanatical. And I don't even mean, when I say gamers these days, it's not like all of us hardcore gamers like we refer to ourselves who play all these different genres and all that. I mean people at this point who basically they just own a console. They could be casual gamers. And the bottom line is that these game companies, and certainly the publishers more than anybody, the game companies now are looking at this not in a way of like, wow, we can make this great art and do creative things and innovate and all that, and make money from it. That's great. That's how the initial stuff started back in the 90s. That was kind of how Doom came about. Doom was a huge shareware hit, and then people started buying it, and really that was like the first mainstream game, But now it's like they don't care about anything except the bottom line. And it's these new microtransactions, because it's so hard for the casual person, the basic consumer. I don't care about how hardcore a gamer you are or how casual a gamer you are. I mean people in general. It is very difficult to track small purchases. You go into a convenience store and you go buy a Coke. You spend $1. You know what? If you do this every day, you spend $30 a month, and you didn't even, you just blew $30 a month. You didn't even think about it, because every day you go in, you spend $1 on a Coke. You're like, I'm thirsty. I'll get $1 Coke. But
most of the time you never miss it either.
And that's right. Especially, and see, companies have started realizing that if you trickle people's bank accounts, if you take that trickle, that little tiny bit of money every day, people are much more, they're much more adept at giving you little tiny bits of money at a time. Because it's just like people talk about with the games, $60 games. We all talk about this. People, especially in the comments, when I made a video a while back about, Modern Warfare 3 versus Battlefield 3, why not both? The number one comment that I got back from people over and over and over was, because I can't afford both. That's $60 each. That's $120. But the thing is, if you right now could say, hey, can you? I'll let you buy Battlefield 3. I'll tell you what, it's only a $10 buy-in. I'll give you the game for $10 on launch day, but you gotta pay me $5, every week or two for like the next 3 months.
Exactly.
People will do that because they can. But to just suddenly have $60 out, a lot of people can't do that. But suddenly they can sure find a way to have $5 every couple of weeks.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. It doesn't matter how much it costs. If you offer a small number up front, it's appetizing. It's like, wait a minute, I can have this right now.
And that's Firefall. Firefall is another one that me and some people have been talking about. Firefall is a new sort of MMO. It's an action MMO, and it's free to play. Free to play. Now, this is a major blockbuster release that's coming out. Free to play, and it's going to be financed by microtransactions. And this is the way that the entire genre of gaming, especially for MMOs, they're all going free to play. Because they just, instead of saying, oh, man, ouch, I just got hit for $15 for this month for playing. Who cares? $15, that's no big deal. Now they're realizing, wait a minute, Why bother with $15 when we can say buy this new sword for $5, and then a few days later we'll say, hey, for $2 I'll give you this little perk, this little jetpack or something, and then a couple of days later for $2 more. Well, guess what? By the end of the month, instead of spending $15, you probably just spent $30, and
exactly,
you didn't even realize.
Exactly, you're being gypped. Microsoft does the same thing. So if you can go to your store, and this just happened to me, and I'm pretty pissed off about it because I didn't even think about it. You can go to your store and you can purchase an Xbox Live card for a year for $60, or you can purchase one that is what, like $20?
Yeah, or you can do the
months?
monthly. Yeah, you could do what is it per month? It's $10. It's I think it's either $10 or $12 a month if you actually pay 1 month at a time.
And so people don't look at. They're like, $50. Screw that! I'll buy the $10 one. Boom.
Exactly.
That's all they see. They don't. They're not going. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm not. Oh, wow. So if I pay every month, I'm getting screwed right in the.
Well, and what's even worse? It's even worse for credit cards, because especially for parents of kids who don't track this kind of stuff, they don't know how much an Xbox Live 1 year card is versus a monthly subscription charge. So guess what? As soon as you put that credit card in, especially for Xbox. I don't know how PlayStation Plus is these days. I don't know if it's like an auto renewal on credit card as well. But for Xbox, I've talked to so many people who've fallen prey to this. Okay, when Xbox pops up at the end of the year when you need to renew your Live subscription and it's set to auto renew and your credit card information is still in there, you can't get rid of that credit card. Okay, that credit card is like in their system. You literally have to call Microsoft to get them to completely, either not auto-renew or remove the credit card from the system.
Yeah, it's not easy.
So get this. It doesn't matter if you paid the $60 for the first year. The next time it auto-renews, and a lot of people don't know this, and especially parents don't know this, they get suddenly $10. $10 on their credit card for the first month. Let's say it's a calendar year. January rolls around. They get $10 charge on their credit card. And they go, what's that? They go to their kid, and their kid's like, oh, that's Xbox. It's only $10, Mom. Okay, no big deal. Well, she gets hit again February. $10. Oh, that's right. That's that stupid charge for Xbox or whatever.
Exactly.
They move on with their day.
Already got it.
But but Mom and Dad have no idea that they're paying $120 for the year. When they have they don't know they can run out for $60, because guess what? It's only $10. I mean, why?
Exactly.
I don't care. It's only $10.
Yeah, exactly. It blows you away. I mean, this is their marketing, and if you don't think that they sit down and think about this, if you think, oh wow, I should tell them about this. If you don't think that they've already known that, well, obviously they know. They're trying to trick you.
Absolutely.
That's how businesses work. That's just how it is. I mean, advertising, marketing, you have to trick people in order to sell. It's almost necessary.
It's a way of life, yeah.
Yeah, you have to do it now, and people aren't getting smarter every day. It's not like it's getting harder.
Yeah. In fact, it really is getting easier, if you ask me.
Exactly.
I think we're slowly moving to that movie Idiocracy every day.
Every day, man. It blows me away.
Yeah.
And the same thing just happened to me. I had $24.99 charge on my account, and I was like, what the hell is that? And I realized, I didn't even think about it, because I've been playing PlayStation so much, haven't even thought about having to renew an Xbox Live membership. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my God, and so I'm going to have to call them and get that taken care of, because I don't play on Xbox Live much. It's just one of those things. When I want to buy it, when I want to play on Xbox Live, I'll go to Walmart and get a year.
Yep.
Or I'll just buy it online and be done with it. But
by the way, speaking of that, the thing is I'm sitting here preaching about it, but even I am a victim of sorts. Let me tell you, what if I told you, and this is really going to be bad, what if I told you I have a video game, now, and you know what, I'll be fair and actually call it a video game franchise that I have probably got somewhere in the vicinity, if you count the entire franchise, I have probably $3,000 tied up in. Can you imagine a game franchise? Is there any game franchise that you could put $3,000 into?
Video game franchise?
Yeah. I mean, if you bought like every Final Fantasy ever on every platform, you probably couldn't get $3,000.
No, not. I mean, not unless you're. No, I mean, realistically, no. But I'm trying to think what the hell you're talking about.
Here's the deal: Rock Band.
Oh, that's right.
One
that's right.
little song at a time. And guess what? I've got my credit card and the PlayStation Network, and I go, wow, cool, man, new song. I love this song. I'm gonna pick it up. Bonk, 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 download. And you know what? It's like, are you sure you want to spend $2? Yeah, sure. Hell yeah, I want to buy two. Oh man, holy crap! This week there's like 10 songs. I want every one of them. $20. So get this. If you go under that kind of idea here, and here's the deal. I own Rock Band 1, Rock Band 2, Rock Band 3, Beatles Rock Band, Rock Band Green Day. I have a Rock Band Metal Pack track pack, a Rock Band Country Band track pack, and then I have almost 1,200 downloaded songs. 1,200. Now remember, $2 each, and this is over a period of 3 years. Now, could you imagine if somebody would have told me 3 years ago, Anakin, hey man, when you buy Rock Band, guess what? You're gonna spend $3,000 on this franchise. I would have been like, there's no way. I don't even have $3,000. I mean, just think if somebody said right when Rock Band 1 came out, if they said, hey, we'll give you every single Rock Band song ever made for like the next 5 years for $3,000 right now, I'd have been like, I don't have $3,000. I'd have to go get a loan for that.
It's like, go to hell, bud.
But guess what? Over, every week, when they go, hey, Anakin, here you go, a couple of songs for you, $2 each. Guess what? I go, oh, come on, shoot. I spend more money on lunch than that. I'll take this. Yeah, I'll take 10 songs. And I've been doing that ever since the franchise came out.
It's insane, man. I couldn't do it. I personally couldn't do it. But you're way, way more of a music fanatic than I am. I've never been that big into music, but I could see. I'm trying to find something I could compare it to. Like, I don't know.
I just want people to realize this method of marketing that is going on out there, because even I'm a victim of it with the Rock Band. Oh yeah,
thing. We all are. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is you do. I mean, sometimes, like with you're addicted to Rock Band, so you're going to pay anything for it.
Yep.
I mean, crap. I'm addicted to cigarettes.
Well, and even that's a good example, because here in the United States, I know we have listeners all over the world, but in the U.S. they keep taxing cigarettes. Mm-hmm. They keep adding and adding and adding taxes on this thing because they want to outlaw them. They want to get rid of them. Okay, but it is a huge industry, and there is a want, and the companies that create cigarettes, all they're doing is supplying the demand. That's all it boils down to. As much as most people don't like it, and even the government is like, look, this is costing us a lot in medical expenses. People die from this, blah, 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 blah. They want to get rid of it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. If you want cigarettes, you're going to pay whatever the price is. It's just like gasoline. I mean, we're having this insane gas crisis. It doesn't matter whether gas goes to $10 a gallon. Guess what? I still got to go to work every day. I'm going to put gas in my car,
Yeah, I'm going to buy it. I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, they're going to find a way to screw you any way they can.
People need to be aware, I think, is what it boils down to. And kids even especially. I mean, you guys out there that may not have a job yet, or you don't actually cover your own finances or whatever. I mean, remember, at the end of the day, I mean, it is kind of a collective in your household. Your parents may be out there making money, but you're spending it. And, at the same time, if something happens, your parents lose their job or whatever, and, just make sure that you educate your parents on things like buying a subscription card, so that you're not screwing your own household, income. I mean, you may want to, if you're screwing your parents and you're making them pay that $10 or $12 monthly fee versus a yearly card, you're just literally throwing away $60 or $70 of your parents' money for no reason.
Yeah, you want to make sure that that's not happening for sure. I mean, God, that's...
And it's the same thing with DLC. I mean, just don't go crazy. I mean, obviously, I've lost my mind with this Rock Band stuff, but, the DLC stuff, you have to, like, Diablo 3, I guarantee you, there's going to be people who get in major trouble from that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. We get nickeled and dimed every day. I mean, the gas where I live is just going up and up and up and up and up, and it's just like, why? Why is it so freaking expensive?
Yeah.
And everything.
Think of another one too. Here's another one just talking about daily life where they trickle from your bank account. Text messages. Now, this is not so much anymore. They finally got away from this. But remember when cell phones, especially texting cell phones, first kind of came on the scene here about 5 years ago or so.
Yeah.
When everybody started getting the ability to text, I remember Verizon at the time was charging 25 cents per text. That was the initial cost, okay? And, I remember, it made national news constantly. These parents would get their teenagers' cell phone bills in, and the cell phone bill would be like $15,000. Because here's this kid, who doesn't know any better, and they're like, okay, oh, that's cute, and they just do this over and over all day. They had no idea. And then the bill comes in, and guess what? They were thinking, it's just 25 cents, no big deal. This is just another 25 cents, no big deal. And until you get the bill in,
Jesus, yeah, exactly. Luckily I didn't have to go through that. I did kind of. I bought one of those prepaid phones about 7 years ago, and oh God, I bought like 40 minutes for it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I got it home, and I was like, oh my God, I've never text messaged before, and I start doing it, and I'm texting my friend next door, and she's texting me back, and I'm like, it's so fun, it was stupid, but I'd never done it. And, literally like 3 hours later, it says you don't have enough funds, to text message. And I was like, what the hell? So I try and call her, and it's like, God, you're out of funds. And I was like, oh my God, dude, I felt sick. I was like, because I spent $40 on the minutes. And I just texted them away in an hour and a half, and I was like, oh God.
I completely believe it.
It was so bad, dude.
Yeah, but to wrap up this topic, the bottom line is the Diablo 3 thing. Okay, I don't personally approve of it. I really hope, and I'm going to be wrong on this, but God, I really hope that the community has some kind of backlash on this, just to show that this experiment won't work. Because the thing is what worries me more than anything is that if this truly is a massive success for Blizzard, and gosh dang it, everything they touch is always a success. If this ends up being this massive success, it is only going to set a precedent for every other publisher and game developer to do exactly the same thing. And I mean, you know what? Call of Duty is so ripe to do that right now.
Yeah, I know, and you don't want that happening. You do not want it.
And and any, just name your favorite franchise: Battlefield, Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, Mass Effect. It doesn't matter. All of these big blockbuster titles, they are ripe for the picking because they already have built-in fan bases. Everybody Uncharted. Uncharted people are rabid about that game franchise. People are losing their minds over Uncharted 3. And just think, if you had to get, some item or whatever, and you could either play, through the game 3 times to unlock the item so you could play through the game the 4th time with it, or all you got to do is pay $5 right when you buy the game, and you don't have to play. You can play through it now with it. Are you going to pay $5? Probably.
Yeah, you probably will. It doesn't really. It's my. I don't know. You just. I would even probably do the same thing. Sometimes by accident. I'd be like, for example, Final Fantasy IX, the Excalibur 2. You have to beat the game in under a certain amount of time and all this crap. And if you don't do it, you literally have to start it all over again. And I always wanted to play with that sword, and I was just like, I would probably pay for it. I'd pay a couple bucks just. It's like, yeah, I could do it. I know I have the ability, but I don't want to.
Exactly. I mean, there's been plenty of times that what was it? There was a game not that long ago, and I was willing to pay. In fact, I was trying to find a way to pay. At the end of, I believe it was Guitar Hero World Tour. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite bands in the world is a band called Dream Theater. They're a big progressive metal rock band out there. They put in a song, one of their most famous songs from the early '90s, called "Images and Words." It was actually, the song was "Images and Words." No, sorry. The album was "Images and Words." The song that they put on Guitar Hero World Tour was called "Pull Me Under." Very, very famous song. Okay. Mm-hmm. This was the Dragon Force song of Guitar Hero World Tour. You had to go and beat every song all the way through on some crazy difficulty, and once you went all the way through, you could only play the song during the credits once. And that was it. And if you wanted to play it again, you had to start at the beginning of the campaign of the game, play all the way through. If you beat it, they allowed you to play that song again.
What?
Once.
That sounds retarded.
Exactly. And I was like, okay, this is stupid. I'm not going through this game to just play the song. Surely somebody's got some goofy, red, green, blue code that allow me to just go and play the song.
No kidding.
I never to this day saw any way to not only buy the ability to play that song as DLC so I don't have to do it during the freaking credits, but I never found even a code that allows you to go and play it directly. So you know what? I sold the game. I said, screw it. I am never going to play this song, and I'm not going to jump through their hoops. I was even willing to give them money for this particular song, but I wasn't going to jump through their hoops, and I never did get to play it.
What game was it again? I'm sorry.
I think it was World Tour, Guitar Hero World Tour.
Okay.
Yeah, it was number 26,000 in the list of Guitar Hero titles they released.
Christ, it's retarded, man. I couldn't do that either. But
anyway.
We should probably we don't have much time to talk about our next topic, but we do have one that is pretty cool, because not cool, but it's pretty funny because we actually kind of talked about this in a previous episode, and we discussed how Nintendo had failed.
And boy, we didn't know we were that right.
Yeah, we kind of we got a lot of bad press on it. Well, I did anyway.
People I did too.
I was kind of under the impression that that Nintendo stole the show, bro. And I'm just like, you're an idiot. Okay, it stole the show because you're a fanboy.
Right,
it's just whatever. But anyway,
what we're talking about is the Nintendo 3DS.
Right.
And so if you go back to, what was it? I mean, I don't even remember what episode of Down the Scope it was, but we discussed how lame this thing was. It was just going to be a massive failure. And you're right. We just got so many people saying how wrong we were.
Yeah. No, they were like, no, Nintendo will never fail, bruh, because it's not going to fail. And you got to look at the thing. You can't sit there like I'm a fan of Nintendo. You can't sit there and stare at it and admire it and be ignorant. Okay? You can't sit there and do that, because when you do that, you make yourself look stupid. Okay? Right. Nintendo showed us something at E3 that blew us away. What it was they unveiled their quote unquote new console. Now, first of all, we also in a previous episode talked about new consoles and whether we thought they should be released now or not. And we kind of were in agreement that no, they should no. We've got life left.
Yeah.
And what we've got, it's not really, we don't need better graphics, we just need better content. And Nintendo shocked the world by, leaking that they were working on something called Project Cafe.
Right.
And come to find out, they were going to unveil this new console at E3. And, people were like, whoa, this is insane. I was excited, but it was too early. It was obviously too early, and you could sense that in the press. And they unveiled this crap. I mean, honestly, that's all Wii U is to me. It's an accessory. They're
Right.
pulling off as a brand new console. Well, this console's supposed to be able to play PS3 and whatever games. I already got a PS3, don't need one, and I sure as shit don't need a steering wheel looking expensive controller that doesn't even play in HD. So
Yeah, I
no,
don't need an iPad with sticks on the side.
exactly. So that was fail. That was a failure to us. Not only that, what was it? The NGP
Yeah.
came in and literally blew me away. Now, if it didn't blow you away, it's because you're a fanboy.
Yep.
Just stay in your corner. And it took the handheld market, pulled it up, and it was like, oh, really? It's like, I'm the new big guy, okay? It's like, yeah, our PSP might not have done the best, but we've refined it, and here we go. And Nintendo, we're stepping up to the plate, and we're about to just trounce you. Because what you did was you showed your cards. We realized what you had, and we haven't even folded yet. We're ready to deal back. And what happened? the 3DS.
The 3DS
has failed.
They sold less than 900,000 units in the United States in a period of 5 months.
Now you're sitting there going, oh, Anakin, you're a fucking idiot because 900,000 is a big number.
Oh, no.
No, it's not a big number.
They were expecting somewhere in the range of 10 to 15 million.
Yeah, that is a good number. That would have been, hey, 3DS is just as good as the DS and the DS Lite was. We're kicking it. It's great. And wow. So what? So they didn't sell that many. So what happened to the console? What did they do that is just so absolutely insane that it literally blew me out of my chair when you told me, because I didn't know this.
Yeah. So here's the deal. This is the biggest, quickest price cut on any console in history since 1996. And get this, the one that did it before that, 96. The last time a major console release had this big of a price cut this quickly was on the Virtual Boy in 95.
The Virtual Boy, now, this is funny to me because literally the Virtual Boy at the time of the cut had probably the same amount of games as the 3DS has now. You could literally hold them in your hand.
There were
that many. And okay, so it just blows me away. Now, the price cut is going to shock you.
Yeah, the price cut on the 3DS. Let's get back to the 3DS because this is huge, okay?
Yeah.
The 3DS retail price. Remember, gang, okay? I know we got listeners everywhere, but we're talking about United States here for the moment, all right?
Mm-hmm.
The original 3DS price. Now, and I know a lot of you already know this, but I love to build this up, okay? Remember how much an Xbox costs, and remember how much a PS3 costs, okay? All right? And remember, there's deals every day. I follow these deal sites, okay? You can easily get a PS3 or an Xbox almost any day of the week with a $50 gift card for $299, putting these major consoles at around $250 almost any day of the week, okay? The 3DS list price launch, $250, $249.99.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, remember, this is a handheld. Okay, this is a freaking handheld, all right? This is not a PSP. This is a goofy, funny little handheld that basically does, 8-bit graphics still. I mean, this isn't even an amazing device. They said, okay, 3D without glasses, but here's the deal. It did not sell at all. Nobody bought this. Gee, I wonder why. At $250? I mean, honestly, if you had the choice between a freaking 360 and a PS3 and a 3DS, what are you going to buy? What parent would buy their kid a $250 handheld versus a full-blown console? So here's the deal. 5 months have passed. Nobody bought the damn thing. And they cut it 32% down to $169.99.
$170. That is freaking insane.
$170. Biggest price break ever since the Virtual Boy.
No kidding. It's just, that is defeat, guys. That's, you can't, the only way you could get defeated anymore is by saying we're discontinuing, by pulling it off like they did with the PSP Go. That's the way a console dies. Is it's kind of like a star. The way a star dies. Yeah, it might blow up, but it's still got remnants. It's still there. This thing has just been cut down, and its library is absolutely crap. Okay,
Yep.
So my guess is that Nintendo is now going, okay, well, we're screwed. If we got to cut this down, and then we got to start releasing these games and hope the games are the things that sell it. And it's not going to happen. I'm sorry, but the 3DS is just, when your number one rated game is a game that's been out for 15 years, oops, it's not good. There's not even. I mean, yeah, you can be sitting there and say, "Well, dude, the Mario and these games are coming out. You just gotta wait." No, you don't. You don't release a console without a decent lineup of games coming out.
That's right.
You don't do it, and they did it anyway. And Zelda just came out. Their top-rated game just came out last month.
Yep.
And or 2 months ago or something. But
yeah, but it wasn't a major. It wasn't a launch. It wasn't a launch title.
No.
And the launch title, they had nothing to speak of as a launch title. And not to mention, the deal is the DS and the DS Lite and the DS XL. These are massively well-selling devices. It wasn't like the DS was freaking dying and they needed to revitalize the
NGP.
Right, exactly. Like, the PSP was basically dead. And Sony knew, hey man, we are dying out there in the handheld market. We need to revitalize our name in the handheld market. We need to come back with something major and something strong and get people to buy it again. Nintendo didn't even have that problem. The DS was still selling like hotcakes. It was the number one selling console of all time. The entire DS, the DS, all of them as a whole, okay? The DS, the DSi, the DSi XL, and the DSi Lite, and now the 3DS. If you combine that into basically one console, it's the number one selling thing of all time and the highest profiting console of all time. That's why Nintendo just had so much money they didn't even know what to do. And yet, now they they put all this money in R&D for the stupid Wii U, and then they threw the 3DS out there, and people, I think the biggest problem was the 3DS. First of all, it's capitalizing on something that nobody cares about. Nobody cares about 3D. It doesn't work on the PlayStation 3. It doesn't work at the theater. I don't care where you're doing it. Nobody's buying 3D TVs. This is just not something that is interesting consumers. So the thing is, they release something that is a novelty at best, and then at worst, it's a confusing product that people don't understand because of how many DS names there are out there to choose from at the store.
Yeah.
So I just, Nintendo, I just think something is going on internally. They've lost their handle on the gaming crowd, on their audience, because the Wii U is not an evolutionary console, what they should be going to. They need to just say, we need to get in line and follow in with the PS4 and the Xbox 720, put out a standard controller where we can get the same content from these other major developers, and then still have their exclusive titles. Bring back their Mario, bring back their Zelda, bring back their Metroid. But now they've got an HD system. Now they've got the high end, everything.
It's not enough.
It's just this Wii U thing. Now it's this bizarre proprietary format. The 3DS is this bizarre proprietary format. You are not going to get developers to create for these formats because the return on the investment is very limited. It's only one outlet. They've got two outlets when they develop for the PS3 and Xbox. All they got to do is get in line. Now they get all the content for the other two majors on their console as well, and they just choose to not do it.
Yep. I agree. I 100% agree. I don't think, and I honestly don't think there's much more to say about it. I think we covered it and we were right, and I think unfortunately unfortunately, this is just a taste of what we're going to be seeing from Nintendo. I think that this next generation is going to be Nintendo as the weak.
Yeah, I agree.
And
And you know, sadly, I mean, love it or hate it, the Wii was a massive seller. I mean,
yeah,
it was just unbelievable. I mean, it just sold so many freaking consoles, and yet now look at them. They're gonna be floundering. They're not floundering yet, but they're gonna be floundering because
yeah.
the 3DS is a massive failure. We knew it. We saw it. You know, we said it on the podcast, and now the Wii U. Mark my words, the Wii U. It's not going to do any better.
No, I mean, the thing about PS3 and Xbox, the reason they sell, when they come at you and they say, you know, oh, get ready, this thing is doing, you know, this is this good, blah, 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 you got these amazing graphics, this, it's because that's what they're known for. When you look at Nintendo and they say, Nintendo has the graphics now, it's like, I don't give a crap, dude. Mario looked just as fine in 480 than it is going to look in 1080.
Exactly.
I mean, there's really no reason to bump Mario up in resolution. Honestly, there's no.
Yeah.
The thing is, you're not playing the Wii. You're not going to be sitting close enough to your TV anyway to notice. I mean, you're going to be sitting far enough back so that you can use the damn wand or the Wiimote to it just won't matter. To me, anyway, I don't need to see Mario in 1080. Yeah, it would probably be cool, but it's not a console seller.
Right, exactly. And remember, most Nintendo titles are geared towards the really garish, colorful graphics. They're all solid colors. It's not like we're going to see Mario wearing, his outfit, and you're going to be able to tell all the threads in it. Like you can on a Call of Duty guy or something when you're sitting there and you can see the arm holding the gun and you can see like the damn canvas band wrapped around the commando gun in Black Ops. That's the kind of graphics we're talking about here. You're not going to get in on Mario and see the threads in his hat and the pimple on his cheek, as he looks at the camera. This is not that kind of game. They don't need those kind of graphics.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, not only is Japan really, when it comes to a hardcore Japanese developer, they seem to be absolutely ignorant when it comes to making games like sequels and stuff. But I mean, it's starting to make me, think maybe they don't know what they're doing when it comes to consoles. Japan seems to be catering only to them.
Yeah.
And it's gonna kill them.
It's a very limited audience for them.
Yeah. Well, you look at Japanese. So you got, look at the Kingdom. Look at Square Enix. They're doing absolutely atrocious with selling me a product. Okay, their Final Fantasies are becoming, they're changing with Japan and not the Western world.
Right.
Their sequels. They haven't released a Kingdom Hearts 3. What the hell are they thinking, man?
Yeah. What's the hold up?
They haven't released a remake of any Final Fantasy 7, 8, or 9, or 6. They're remaking these like Final Fantasy 4 into a DS game. Screw your mobile bullcrap. We don't do that over here in the West, and you have to please us to keep afloat.
Absolutely.
You have to. You can't sit there and cater to the Japanese audience only and think you're going to get by. That's not how this world works. The Western people, the Western world is dominant. Especially in the gaming world.
Absolutely. Well, that's where the money is. Everybody knows if you can attack the U.S. and European crowd, you're gonna get your money. You're gonna get the return you're looking for on your investment. If you are only going after a very limited audience, which in this case would be the Japanese market, there's just you don't have enough. Just sheer volume to pay yourself back on your investment. It doesn't work out.
Well, in Nintendo is doing the exact same thing that Square Enix did. So what they're doing is they're saying, all right, you know what, we're going to go with this 3DS, we're going to go with that, we're going to keep going with this mobile crap. Because if you don't know, in Japan, these guys have no time to do anything because all they do is work. Pretty much every minute of every day, they're working. After work, they go and they have like a social life, and then they go home. They sleep for like 4 hours. They're back on the job. Very stressful life living in Japan. So their gaming, a lot of their gaming consists of mobile gaming. Okay, so just ask. Here's the thing. if they were to say, okay, Viridia, Nintendo, we're Nintendo, we're going to sit you down, we're going to ask you, what do you think we should do? You know what my first answer would be? Take this damn genius Pokemon idea, take it off your stupid freaking mobile system and give it a new update. Keep the formula, give it graphics that are good, give it a freak. Can you imagine? I mean, I know you're not a Pokemon fan, okay? But imagine this crappy,
How do you know that? I might be some weird closet Pokemon fan that you don't know about.
I'm pretty sure you're not.
All right, I don't think there's any convincing anybody that I'm a Pokemon fan.
So look at these pixelated graphics on the screen, bam, bam, and they pop up. Can you imagine having even just the Wii, these beautiful 3D graphics pop up, same format? You get into a fight. 3D sprites pop up on the screen. You've got them, moving very fluidly. This game would sell like crazy. I mean, it would fly off the shelf day one. It would probably beat Call of Duty. I mean, seriously, it would just absolutely blow them away. Why don't they do that? If it's obvious enough to somebody like myself, why won't they do it? Nintendo continually does this. They hurt themselves like this. I mean, they could make. All they would have to do is focus on a few of their franchises, and they could stay afloat. I mean, look at Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. They finally did something right. They made a sequel to a game that worked.
Right.
With Pokemon, getting kind of stale, man. It's getting kind of old. You're in your 5th generation. That's okay. The thing is, though, I don't think you need to keep making new ones. I think you just need to change your engine a bit. Can you imagine a Pokemon, like Elite Red, okay? I'm just making this up on the spot, literally, okay? The Elite Red and Elite Blue, they sell it in the store, retail release, $59.99. You purchase the game, you go home, you can actually play online, okay? Instead of having to find an idiot who has a link cable in his pocket, you find a guy online, you say, I'm going to battle him right here sitting in my chair. You've got the beautiful graphics. You want to trade Pokemon? Oh, wait, I can't collect all 150 of them, the originals, because I don't have the other game, because I don't want to go and spend another $59.99. That's fine, because there's a whole trading zone dedicated to people who are willing to trade back and forth to get these guys, okay? It's not brains. It's not rocket science. It's not brain surgery to figure out that you could easily market this stuff. It's just they just don't do it. I mean, it blows me away, and it is Japanese companies. You don't see Rockstar. You never saw them hesitating to pull out a GTA.
Right.
Like they let it live, they let it breathe, and then they brought out something better. And it keeps getting better and better and better and better, and it works. They're staying afloat, But Nintendo, they're like, oh, let's try some cheesy bull crap and get another portable out there into their hands, and this is how it's going to work for Japan. Let's just hope it goes well in the place that counts, and they're going to lose it, man. It's not going to work.
It is worrisome, I mean, I really do. I like Nintendo. I'm not like a huge fan of their franchises and their exclusive titles. But the thing is I've always respected Nintendo. I've always liked having them out there, and it is actually a little worrisome that it's very possible they may end up being the big kid on the block over the last few years. And then nearly be non-existent in the next 5.
And just falling off. Yeah, it's so sad to think. And I think they've got enough of a reputation that I'm sure Sony would be like, here, dude, borrow some money. It's like, you need some help. But I fear that I don't want to go another couple years without a good Nintendo game, like a solid year. You never have these years where it's like, oh my God, there were so many great Nintendo releases this year. It's like, there were 4 or 5 that were just spectacular, and then there wasn't much else. And a lot of people are going to argue, well, dude, that's because they put a lot of time and effort into these couple games to make them that good. I'm sorry, but I don't think that's not going to cut it.
Right. Okay?
Don't make this bullcrap excuse to me and think that that's going to pass. That's not how it works, okay? These guys have every opportunity. They're in the big 3. You know,
Exactly.
they hold this crown. They've held it for 30 years almost, and you're gonna sit here and tell me that they don't have the time, they don't have the manpower. It's bullcrap. What they're doing is they're shooting themselves in the foot and catering to only a certain individual audience, and it's just not working. Pokemon Black, Pokemon White, Pokemon whatever rainbow color you want to think of, don't put it on the damn handheld system.
Yep.
And not only that, here, look at this stupid move, ladies and gentlemen. Think about this. They go to release their 3DS, okay? Their stable freaking game, Pokemon Black and Pokemon White, they release it, a month before their 3DS? They don't even develop it for the new system. Can you imagine if they had just held off and said, oh, wait, hold on, guys. Make Pokemon Black and White for the 3DS, not the regular DS.
Yeah, make it exclusive. Exclusive to the 3DS.
We'll release the 3DS. Can you imagine how many sales they would have done?
Yep.
But no, they released their flagship DS title for the original DS, and then they released a system that didn't matter. It's like, why would I want a new one? I've got what I need right here. I've got a Pokemon game that's going to last me months and months. I don't need this new system. You just want to slap the dude in the face and just say, are you a retard? I'm sorry for you saying the R word, but geez, it's what it seemed like to me. He's being an idiot. Anyway, that's the way I see it. I think we've literally beat this to the ground, and we'll just keep bashing them, as long as it keeps happening. And I am a fanboy of Nintendo, but I'm not an idiot, so I know that I can easily talk about it openly. If you've got a constructive opinion, I would love to hear it. You can email us at podcastdownthescope@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment. I'm just gonna point and laugh if you're one of these guys sitting there just, oh, you're a jerk, you're a fag, you suck, just because I bash Nintendo. Just don't even bother, okay? Because I'm going to reply something funnier than what you said, and then you're gonna look like an idiot. So,
well, and the thing is too. I mean, it's very true. The thing is, the reason that we can pick on these game companies like this, it's kind of like picking on your brother or your sister, something like that. Is somebody's close to you. It's not like we're picking on Nintendo because we're fanboys of something else. This is because we grew up with Nintendo. We love everything about Nintendo, and the reason and it's actually it makes us mad that Nintendo is falling on their face. This is something you're not gonna let let your brother, your mother, father, sister, whatever. You're not gonna let them make some stupid mistake and not say anything. You're gonna be like, oh, come on, man, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Come on, you get your shit together.
Yeah.
But the thing is this is why we're basically talking about Nintendo like this. This is something we hold very dear. And so they need to get their act together. We want them to get their act together. And right now, I think they need to hear it from their fans and from the community.
Well, these aren't little kids, man. They're not little kids that you can sit there. When I was a kid, I'd draw a picture. It was crap, but my mom and dad would be like, that's really good. It inspired me to keep going. Now, if I'm an adult today and I'm sitting here going, hey, Mom, I'm thinking of entering this in the contest, and it's crap, and my mom's like, it's great, honey. You go ahead and do that. And I enter it. I'm just going to get shat on.
Exactly.
And I'm going to be like, what the hell, Mom? Why didn't you say something, It's one of those things where, Nintendo, they're a bunch of big boys. They've been around for longer than either of these other companies in the gaming world.
Yep.
They need to get their shit together. And you as a fan, you need to, say something about it.
Voice your opinion. Exactly.
Voice it. Yeah, I mean, the more you say, the more they're like, oh, this isn't working for anybody but us, over here. I saw a video. I can't remember what video it was I was watching, and it was of it was like a making of video. It was a very recent game, and the director walks into his office, and I'm not even kidding you. He walks around the corner. Everybody, they're all huddled around at different points in the office playing a PSP. Every single one of them has a PSP. Now, how many people have you ever seen playing a PSP outside of their home? That's how different the market is. These guys, that is their gaming staple, is the PlayStation Portable. And, you've never seen one. It's so different over there. They market things so differently. People are so much more interested in different things that, I understand. They're trying to keep their people happy, but you've got to find a medium. And You know, this bull crap with their new handheld gaming stuff. Handheld, unless you're revolutionizing it the way the NGP is, that's not the new way to go.
I agree.
So anyway.
Well, down in the comments, you guys let us know. I don't want to forget too. Now that we're finishing up on the 3DS topic, I certainly don't want to. I don't want you guys to forget about the earlier topic covering the microtransactions and some of the auction house information there. I really want to hear people's opinions on whether you're on board for that, if you think you're going to get rich off of it, if you think you're going to go broke because of it. Or if you are very much against that that whole microtransaction future in gaming. I'm very curious to see what people have to say. Do you think any of the analogies that we used here are accurate? Things like the text messaging analogy, or the gas at the pump, or my Rock Band analogy, for example. I mean, I'm very curious overall of what our audience has got to say on some of these things to see if you're on the same page, because this is I think it's a pretty big deal. The 3DS thing is a very big deal. We talked about this as a fail earlier on in our podcast, almost probably 10 to 20, somewhere episodes back. It was a long ways back. Mm-hmm. And, at this point, we're going to be, the longer this podcast continues, the more that we'll be able to look back at our opinions that we've, and predictions we've made.
Exactly.
And we'll be able to say, you know what, we called this. We called this one. And you know what? When somebody online says, oh, I predicted that, it's like, oh, no, Link or STFU. You know what? You always have Down the Scope to go back to. And you know what? You can listen to what we had to say. You can go back and listen to our E3 coverage, and you'll be able to hear us say the Wii U was a joke. You'll be able to hear us go back even further and talk about the 3DS and say these things are going to be massive failures. Yeah. And it's going to be very, very interesting as Down the Scope evolves and we continue on with this podcast. I just cannot wait. I love to predict on certain things. I love to see where we're going to go with it. And once we actually make it down that line, make it down to the future that we're talking about now, when we get to those points, I'm going to love so much to go back and listen to some of these as an archive of my opinions and my thoughts and my, and everything that we learned at this point. I just cannot wait to get to some of these later episodes and really refer back to these. I think it's going to be a blast. So, having said all that, I really do look forward to comments down in the bottom about both of the topics tonight, and even some of the little stuff there at the beginning, Mass Effect, Psychonauts. You guys remember, send Verdia a copy of Psychonauts.
Please,
somebody.
I'm begging.
Yeah, it's a great game. I highly recommend it. I think you have actually played it once, right?
Oh, I beat the hell out of it, yeah. But it was a long time ago. It was back when I first got my apartment. I didn't have much to play. And, I beat the crap out of it. I just wanted to do it again. It's one of those things where it's like, it's basically a brand new game because a lot of times passed, a lot of games have gone through my head, and I've forgotten a lot of the stuff.
Exactly.
But yeah, I would definitely appreciate if somebody had an extra copy. I would even trade you a game for it. I'm not even lying. Just send me a PM or something. But
awesome.
Anyway, guys, I think that is all the time we've got for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Again, leave your comments below, and you can email us at podcastdownthescope@gmail.com, and we'll answer back in the cast if it's if we get a good topic or something, we'll respond. We normally answer mail, but we didn't get any. Either we didn't get any,
our emails broke.
Either that or MZL isn't forwarding them. I'll have to talk to her about that. Anyway, guys, this has been episode 28. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.